Okay, so we're going out to Tableau Public, our desktop app that we have. And throughout this, if you don't have the option to save to Tableau Public, or you don't have the functions or the formulas that I'm using, or your map doesn't work the same, it's because you have the wrong version of Tableau. So if you just Google download Tableau, you're going to get the wrong version because there are professional versions and student versions and free trials. Uninstall what you've got, go back and carefully follow those directions to make sure that you get a freely downloadable student version of Tableau Public Desktop and that you're opening the app on your desktop. Okay, not the web version, but from your desktop. Okay, here we go. We're connecting out to an Excel file. Navigate to where you have the downloaded file from Canvas. And after a minute, it will open up all of the data. It shows you all the different fields and what type it is, whether it's a number or text. And then across here, it also shows whether you've got a number or there's text. And then it has geometry coordinates, 4 columns of it, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Now that's not very helpful, so we're going to rename it. So you can either do the drop down arrow and do rename, and it'll highlight the box. This first one is the origin, and it's the longitude. Okay, the shortcut is to go, we're going to rename the next one, double click, and it will highlight that so that you can change it. This is the origin and latitude. So if you get the longitude and the latitude mixed up, your points are going to plot in the wrong place on the globe. Okay, the next one is the destination, and it's the longitude. And finally, the fourth column is the destination, and it's the latitude. Okay, now when you rename the columns, we haven't changed the original data at all. We're just making a virtual copy of the data. We're connecting out to the data, and then we're manipulating our Tableau internal version of the data. Okay, now the other thing I want to rename is over on the far right, the route. Well, I guess I don't want to rename it. I want to work with it. So when you do a drop down, you can create calculated fields from here. We're going to create several. This is one of the places where that's available, but they have an option to split. And if I just say, go ahead and split it, there's only one delimiter there. And so Tableau assumes that's the delimiter I want to use. And now we have route split 1 and split 2. So double click. This is my origin, and it's the airport. And then the second one is the destination airport. It's the airport code for that destination city. Okay, let's go into our first worksheet. And you can see I've got all the dimensions up here, and the destination airport, origin airport show up here, as well as the latitude, longitude, the renamed columns show. Okay, I have an air travel data count. How many rows of data values are in this data set? So let's go ahead and make our first sheet, and this will be the total flights. Total flights, if you just double click on the air travel count, well, it brought up, looks like 88,532 flights, but it's in a bar chart. If you go to the show me and change it to a text table, just click on that, then it just shows the number. And now I've got this annoying menu that will stay there until you decide to close it again. Okay, so total number of flights, 88,000. That's great. Let's go ahead and do flights per day. So let's open up a new sheet. I'm going to double click so I can name it flights per day. And for this, I want to have the date and bring it onto the columns. Just click and drag it over. And now by default, if you see, it just says 2020, just the year, and it shows that it's got the year of the date. But if you look at the drop-down menu, this is the one that's chosen. And there are two different kinds. There's of numbers. There's discrete and continuous. And the discrete are these first ones, so I could change it to month. See, now it shows March. But then there's also down here in continuous. We want continuous and we want the day. And then I can take my count and put it on the rows. And it, by default, chose a line chart, which is what I wanted. We will do the formatting when we start putting it in the dashboard. So I'm going to leave that for now. And we're going to move on to the map. This is where things get exciting. Okay, so before we can plot things on the map, we have to turn the latitude and the longitude into a single point. That's a calculated field, and you can create that here. Create a calculated field. The first one I'm going to do is the origin point. Let's put the latitude and the longitude together to make a point, and the formula is called make point. And then I want origin and choose latitude first, and then comma, and then origin longitude. And it will recognize that it's a measure. It's got the brackets around it and the highlighting. And then you hit OK. And then let's open up a new worksheet. And we're going to just test that we did it correctly. So if you take the origin point, first notice that it has now, it's not just a number, it's geography. So if I take that and I drag it over, it will say, oh, that was geography. You probably want a map. And this is what it should look like. Lots of points in the United States, lots of points around San Francisco. If you get just like a whole bunch of random points coming mostly in a straight line in weird places like down through Africa or something, chances are you got your latitude and your longitude mixed up. So when you make your point, let's show that again. Origin, latitude, origin, longitude. Okay. All right, let me drag that back off. Let's make a destination point. Create a calculated field. This is the destination point. To do that, we make a point and destination, latitude first, comma, destination, and then longitude. So the make point wants the latitude first. Hit OK, let's test it, drag it on here. That looks great. Drag it back off. Okay, now that we have an origin point and a longitude point, we can connect those 2 points to make a line, and that would be the flight path. So let's do a new calculated field. This will be our flight path. And we need to make a line, and the formula is called make line. Start at the origin point, and then end at the destination point. So you have to be using the global data value to make that line. And hit OK. And now let's test it. Put the flight path, drag it on there. Yeah, how cool is that? Okay. Now we're going to want to put a lot more detail in here, like where is that going to? In fact, well, we can do that part right now. Let's take the route and drag it onto the detail. And that detail will show up in the tooltip when I hover. So now when I hover over just this one, that's from Delhi to San Francisco. No idea, whatever that is. Peking, and so on. Let's go ahead and name this sheet our flight path. Flight path. And we will come back to this and do some formatting and also do some better labeling. Let's move on to the number of miles. So to do that, we need a new calculated field. And this will be the distance of each flight. And to do that, I need a formula, and the formula is called distance. Start, end, and units. Start at the origin point, the global, the geography data point, and end at the destination point. And then the last one says units, and this you need to supply text to that Tableau will insert in its code. And so in double quotes, I want to measure in miles and hit OK. Okay, now I want to test to see what that's doing. So let me open up a new sheet, and I'm just going to call this my test sheet. And let's take the route and drop it into the rows. So there's all the different routes that are flown. And one thing to notice is that there's, let's go to the S's. There we go. So there's a San Francisco to, I'm going to make this up, Tel Aviv. No idea if that's true or not. San Francisco to TLV, but then there's also a TLV to San Francisco. So the origin and the destination show up as different routes. Let's put distance and drag that on here. When you drag it over until the ABC is highlighted, it will put those distances in as values. So let's take something like, I thought this one was interesting. San Francisco to San Francisco was one of the routes. And not only that, check this out. Let's bring the count over. There were 11 flights from San Francisco to itself. That's interesting. Okay, now we have a problem with our distance, and that is like San Francisco to Sydney, I guess. And you could say, well, I know Sydney's pretty far away, but it's not 1.3 million miles away. The total circumference of the Earth is only like 25,000 miles, I think. So the longest flight possible would be 12,000 miles. So what's happening is that this distance is being summed. So all of these 50 flights make a total of 3,300 miles. So instead of getting a sum, let's change our measure and make it an average. So take the total miles divided by the number of flights. And now I have San Francisco to Salt Lake City, 598 miles. That sounds right. And there were 1,154 of those flights. Okay, so now I know that this distance should be an average. So let me go down to my distance here, my measure itself, and change the default property to aggregate as an average. Okay, now what I'd like to do is we want to combine like San Francisco to Salt Lake City. I want that just to be Salt Lake City, like whether Salt Lake was the origin or the destination. See, the miles are the same, but the number of flights is different. I just want to know about that other airport, like the other city. So we're going to create a new calculated field. And this calculated field will be the not SFO airport. This is a conditional, so if destination airport is not equal, so that's is not equal to in text SFO, then give me the destination airport. Else, so otherwise give me the origin airport. And then make sure that you hit end. That way you get that the calculation is valid, and we'll hit OK. Okay, let's test this. So here's my new dimension, not SFO. Let me bring this over. Set it right there. Albuquerque, San Francisco, it picked out Albuquerque. So origin, origin, origin. But then when I scroll down to where the origin was San Francisco, then it picked out the other city. Okay, so whichever one is not San Francisco, give me that. So again, for the logic, look through the destination. If that's not SFO, then give me the destination. But if the destination was SFO, then don't give me that, give me the origin instead. So that looks like it's working. So let's check this, just make sure that our logic worked. Let's find San Francisco, Salt Lake City again. There it is. So, oh no, too many of those. San Francisco to Singapore. 130 with Singapore as the destination. Let's look up Singapore, San Francisco. 147. So if I take out the route and I look just at the not SFO, so where's the route? Here it is. Let's take that out. Now I only have your Singapore and it combined all 277 flights. Excellent. That's what I want. Now we can make the longest and the shortest flights, and we can also make the most traveled airports. Let's open up a new sheet. Let's do the most, not most traveled, most frequent connection airport. So I want all of the not SFO airports. Let's drag that onto the rows. And then I want to know how often we fly to those. That would be a count of the flights. Perfect. And then most frequent, we're going to sort them descending. LAX to JFK, that looks great. Okay, now I want, let's just make these the 10 most frequent. I want to limit, and I'm filtering the airports. Okay, so I want to take the not SFO and put it on a filter. And I've got several options. I want to take the top. The top based on a field, which is the count of air travel. That looks good. Top 10, okay. And it limits it. Lovely. And then let's change that. Let's go over to the show me and choose a bar chart. Great. And when I did that, it now rearranged it based on alphabetically. Let me do that again. I did this. Perfect. Okay. Let's add some labels. So that will be label, show the mark labels. Great. And then with that done, I can click on the header and then right click, and I don't need to show it because it's labeled anyway. And I don't really need this. That's a right click and hide the field label. That looks great. New sheet. This will be the longest flights. So now I'm talking about the city and the distance. So I want to take the not SFO, we'll drop it in the rows. I want the distance, you can drop it here or put it in the columns. Then I got bar chart. I take that back off and I take the distance and I drop it here. It stays as text. Let me sort it. And then we're going to limit it, and we're limiting the cities. So the not SFO will be my filter. And I want the top by a field, which is the distance. I think I only want 5. Okay. There's my longest flights, and then let's hide this while we're at it. Let's right click and hide the field labels. Oh, and let me take care of these numbers. Let's go into distance. And I want to do default properties and number format. Custom number, no decimal place on the distance. There we go. That looks better. Let's get our shortest flights. Take the not SFO airport and take the distance and sort ascending and then limit it. So filter out the not SFO values. The top, actually the bottom, 5. Okay. They're still in the right order. Let's remove this not SFO. That looks good. Okay, let's just double check. Let's see what we need here. We need flights per day. We've got a decent map, but we need to work on the formatting and the tooltip. Total flights, check. Oh, I need total miles flown. I've got the 5 longest and the 5 shortest, most frequently connecting airports. Okay, so we just need total miles flown and flights per day. Let's go get that done. Total miles flown. Oh, I did do flights per day. Yeah, that's done. Okay. Let's just take the distance and put it onto text. That's 1,623 miles because it's still averaging. So I'm going to override that and put my measure, change it to a sum. 143,000 miles. Let's just verify that. Perfect. Okay. All right. So we're about ready to put our dashboard together. I think the only thing we need is this. Like we want to call out the day that had the most flights and the day that had the least flights. So I want to find a maximum and a minimum within a chart and get it highlighted. So on flights per day, if I go to the labels and I want to show mark labels, but not for everything, I can just say min max and it will show what that label is. But then if I want to show what day that happened, because I don't want every single date labeled on here, just the ones that were the most important. There's not a way to filter the horizontal axis. Instead, I need to figure out how to get that mark to show up. Pull out the date. We're going to create one last calculated field, and I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. The biggest one, well, first, because it's going to work for what we want, but even bigger is that your final project uses this. Okay, so this is kind of like your preview of coming attractions. So create a calculated field. We're going to create the maximum and minimum. I'll leave this formula up. It's a little bit complicated, but just type it exactly. It's conditional. If the count of our whole data set, the count of the air travel data is equal to, and then the window, I want the window underscore max of the count of the air travel data. So if the count of the data is the maximum that ever shows up, let's close the count. There we go. Close the count, close the window max. It's all on a single line. There we go. Or count of air travel data, close it off, it's equal to the window minimum of count of air travel data. So if the count is the max or the count is the min, then we want to give that date. And then there's an attribute function, which is going to, if there were 2 maxes or 2 mins, it's going to let the user know that there was more than one date where that happened. But anyway, attribute and then give me the date. And put an end. Calculation is valid. Let's see how this works. Hit OK. I now have a new calculated field that's measured down here. Let me go to my test. Okay, now what I want to know is whether the max and min will pull out the max and the min and whether it will bring back the date. So let's see, I don't need the airports. Let me just clear everything off, start from scratch. Okay, I need the date, put it on the rows. What is my, there we go, get a text table. Let's do day up in this discrete one. Let's move that to rows. There we go. So day of the date up in the discrete part. And then I should see March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, so on. Let's take the count and double click it. Or you can put it, let's see, your other option is to take count and put it on text or to drag it into here. Okay, so here's all the days. Now if I take my max min and I want to put that on color, then it has done blue for all the in-between numbers, and it has highlighted the maximum of 32.95 and the minimum. Let's just verify. Yep, March 6th was the max, and the 26th was the minimum. And notice that if I'm on one of these in-between dates, it doesn't, the max min doesn't bring back anything. But if I'm on the minimum, it brings back the date. Okay, let's go to my flights per day. And so far I can show the count of the max and the min. But if I take my, and that's just by using the labels again. So label, only label the max and min. But now with my max min, I'm going to put that on color. And now it has highlighted those. But then I'm going to take max min again and I'm going to put it on label. And then take the count and put it also back on the label. And now it shows the date and the count for just those two most interesting days. So now I can take off my header. I'm just removing the mark that says show header. And I can also remove this header for the vertical axis. Okay, let's put it all together. Let me bring up the dashboard that we're trying to build again. There it is. Okay, so looking at this, first looking at the boxes, what I see is vertical container. And in the middle section of the vertical container, I see a horizontal container with a vertical container inside it. Okay, let's open up a dashboard. And for the size, instead of range, let's go a fixed size. Let's see. Width and height, just so it'll show well on my screen. Okay. Here are all the sheets that I made. First thing I want is flights per day. Oh, actually, first thing I want is to create my containers. Put a vertical container. And let's rename it. And in this main container, if I go back to dashboard, I want to have some blanks. Put it in here. There, so now I've got this one, that one. So I'm creating vertical space. and I had 3 of them. There we go. So there's my 3 vertical containers. Let's go ahead and put this one. This one had the flights per day. So let's drag that in here. Let's go to the bottom one because that had a single chart. That was the 10 most frequented. Okay, so it's putting it in as a new container. See how it's only got a half because I've got that blank in there. So drop it in and then come and click on this one, and that's the blank, and then we'll take it out. That was like the placeholder one. And we'll arrange this so I can see all 10. Good. Oh, I have a typo in my sheet name. That can be fixed right here. 10 most frequent connection airport. So there we go. Okay, back to the dashboard. Let's get the middle box going. It needs to have inside of it a horizontal container. And then let's put a blank to hold the place. So this was my map, which was the flight path. And get rid of that extra, and then over here, this is where I wanted another vertical container, and it needed to have 4 spaces. Okay. So the first thing, let's get our total flights, put it in, and change it to entire view. That works better. We'll update the formatting here in a minute. And then total miles flown comes in. Again, entire, select it, entire view. And the longest flights. Let's take out the blank placeholder, and then I can put the shortest flights underneath it. Okay, and entire view. Entire view. That will help me see everything well. Okay, let's work on the formatting. So our options, first, color scheme. I'm switching from the default blue. I would like you to switch from the default blue. Do something different. So on here to get the line, first, the formatting is going to take place out in the sheet. So on this icon, we can go out to the sheet and double click on null because that's all these blue, like it's not a max, not a min. Change that to green and apply it. That looks good. And then you could change, and then you can click on what you want for, this was the max. You could pick a color, like make that red, and then you could make the min purple. And if you apply it, you can see how it changes the color. I kind of liked both of them red-ish. And apply. Okay, hit OK. On the tooltip, let's fix that a little bit. So the day of date, I think we don't need that labeled. Just have the date, and then the count, I could just have N. And the max min, I will take off. Hit OK. Go back to the dashboard. Some of this formatting I can do all at once, so let's do that. Let's go to the dashboard and format. For the worksheet titles, I want to have smaller font, like 12. Okay, and I can watch that update as I go, and I'll change the font to green and make it bold. Excellent. Go back on this worksheet. So it's a double click on the worksheet and center the title. And close up the box a little bit. Let's add a dashboard title. We're going to make it flights to and from San Francisco Airport in March 2020. Highlight it, make it bold, center it, apply it. Okay, I'll take it. Okay. Next, let's look at the map. I don't need title, so let's hide that. Let's go out to the sheet and we can select the color and change it to green to go along with our theme. And on the tooltip, right now we just have the route. I'm going to change that. First, I don't want the route that's here. So these are the details that show up in the tooltip. I don't want the route. What I want instead, close down this, is the not SFO airport so that now it shows the airport name only. I also want to know the number of flights. So let's put the count on the detail and the distance. Okay, let's check our tooltip and work with that a little bit. I want it to say, let's put this, let me just copy it, cut it, and paste it here. So it would say the number flights to, and then the airport. So I can take out count and then have, instead of distance, put that and then space miles. Okay. Left an extra space. Let's get that taken out. Okay. I like it. Go back to the dashboard. That looks good. Moving on. Okay, this one needs some formatting. Let's go out to the worksheet. On this, and then change the color to green. Oh, highlight it, change the color to green. Highlight it, change the font to 20. There we go. Let's see what it looks on the dashboard better. So now I can see I can shorten it up and I can double click here and center. That looks better and also bold while I'm at it. So bold. Actually, the total flights, let me highlight that. I want those in black. I think I like that better. Okay. Oh, great. Total miles flown. Highlight. That's the title. I want it centered. I want it in black. 12 point was okay. Bold is okay. Apply that. And then down here, I go out to the sheet and hit the text. Center it both ways. And highlight the distance sum, change it to 20 and make it green. Apply that, hit OK. Let's see how it looks. Nice. I can shorten that up. I just had highlighting there because it was selected on the sheet. So when I clicked to unselect it and it went away. Longest flights. Just kind of shorten everything up to make it fit. Shortest flights have a little bit of, let me just give it more space. There we go. And the font is adjusting for me. I like it. Okay, I'll go out to that worksheet because I want to add how many of the flights there were. So let's add the count in there. Not like that. Let's add the count in there. And same with the shortest flights. Let's add the count. I like it. This doesn't need to be nearly that wide. Shorten down that box and everything centers and adjusts. Okay, I think I like that. But with the right click, I want to not show that. Ooh, let me undo that. Let's edit the alias and say, let's call it N. And then on this alias, that will be our miles. It's cleaner. I like it. Again, I have that selected. Click on it. There we go. Highlighting goes away. Okay, on the shortest flights, all the miles in the N updated, except look at my number formatting here. Let me go out to the sheet. And on the count, 10 most frequent connection airports. Okay, let's change the font color back. And it's bold, that's okay. And then change the color to green. And okay. Click on it again. All right. Over here, this colors, I can remove that. So, okay, so I have done my formatting, my fiddling around. This matters. It's labor intensive, but it makes a big difference. So take a minute to work on it. And then we'll save it out to Tableau Public. Good job. I'll see you next time.